Hello, everyone, and welcome to David and Jeff's Survivor Podcast. I'm David, and with me, as always, is
Jeff.
How are you doing today, Jeff?
I am absolutely wonderful. How are you, David?
I'm doing great. I thought it was a really good finale of Survivor. I thought the episode itself was good. An interesting and brief reunion. And, of course, we had second chances, and we're going to be talking about it all. And we're also going to be having a Survivor auction where Jeff and I are going to bid on the players of Survivor Season 31 so we can create our own teams of who we think is going to win the game. So, with all that being said, let's first talk about the actual finale of Survivor Worlds Apart. What did you think? Let's just spoiler alert. We're going for the winner. What did you think of Mike as the winner?
I thought Mike was the right winner for this season. I don't know how strong he would rank among winners of seasons past, though. I mean, he's pretty open and honest about the fact that his strategic game was lacking, and I think that that's definitely accurate.
I would say it was almost more so his social game was lacking than his strategic game. I think he had a lot of plans and other things, but his problem was his social game, that he couldn't get the people to go with him, and
I'll say this.
Honestly ostracized him.
And this is kind of the merging between social and strategic, which, as we know, are pretty much one and the same at this point. I'd say his social game with people that were on the jury, like especially the early jurors, was really strong. He was not good at keeping up his social relationships with people who stayed late in the game.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But, I was happy to see him in. I was, too. I know a lot of people were surprised that Carolyn didn't receive more votes. I was really surprised she only got one.
And Rodney would have gotten like 3, assuming we believe those reunion polls.
3 or more, yeah. It would have been a lot closer, and maybe he would have won. I don't know. But yeah, it was definitely would have been a lot closer with Rodney. But is Mike the new top underdog story of Survivor? Does this beat out Vanuatu?
No, because Mike.
Because Chris was an underdog, and then he got a majority alliance, and then was able to go to the end. Whereas Mike was truly target every single time and had to win an immunity, and then ended up winning.
Well, I think one thing that takes away, if you're comparing the two directly, right? Yeah. One thing that gives Vanuatu a point is that Chris didn't have a hidden immunity idol. Right. If Mike didn't have that hidden immunity idol, which goes back to if Tyler hadn't shown Mike the clue, Mike would have been gone at 7. Right?
Yeah.
Chris did get a majority alliance, you're right. And I guess that does make kind of an interesting argument for why. I feel like it was a lot harder, though, for Chris to put himself in that alliance. I think Chris maybe had to do a little bit more work. Then again, Mike did win all the immunities, and he never did have a majority alliance.
I would clearly say that I think Chris is a better player. I think he's much more.
There we go.
Yeah, he's definitely a better player than Mike, but I would say Mike has more of an underdog story of truly being number one, going to get out unless he doesn't win immunity every single time.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Yeah, because they both had similar games at the beginning where they both had their own alliance, and were in control of it for the most of the pre-merge, and then post-merge happened, and well, his was a little different. Is that he got kicked out of his own alliance with Mike, and Chris just had the wrong numbers, but.
But I think this situation begs an interesting question, right? If you find out 4 people in your alliance. And I think this is one of the most interesting aspects of Survivor Worlds Apart, right? Dan and Sierra, until the season aired, still did not believe Mike that there was a plan to get rid of him. Or, maybe Carolyn and Tyler told them at Ponderosa after the game was over. But until the game was over, they had no idea. What do you do in that situation? How do you respond? If you overhear a conversation between part of an alliance that you're a member of, how do you respond to that and not blow up the entire thing like Mike did? Because by blowing up, Mike just ostracized himself.
I think that answer was already solved by the greatest player of all time, Miss Sandra Diaz-Twine. If you remember, she was eavesdropping on Burton and John, who essentially were going through how they wanted to get to the end. And what she did is she took Tawana with her and let her hear for herself, hey, listen. And then that's what caused her to switch and change the whole thing. So I think that's the way you have to go. You have to get that person to catch the other people doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is probably not Mike's specialty of being stealth.
Right.
So it's much better for Sandra. But I think
if Wu is stealth mode ninja, Mike is like howler monkey mode cowboy.
Speaking of that, we can talk about something along those lines later. But
yes, we could.
But yeah, so I think it was a great underdog story. He literally won every challenge. He was entertaining and dynamic. Yeah, but I don't think he was the best social or strategic player or winner that the game has ever seen by any means. I think there's been lots of seasons where there's been someone whose back is up against the wall and they need to win every challenge, and he's the first person to actually do it. Like, you could say the same thing would have been for Terry, would have been for Ozzy in South Pacific. I mean, there's all these people. He's the one who actually got it accomplished.
Is he the best physical winner of all time?
The best physical winner, maybe. I mean, Tom Westman is maybe the other one. I would say it's a toss-up between these two. And I would say if you want consistency, I would say that Tom had much stronger competition than Mike did after Joe was out.
Yeah, I want to look at Tom's wins.
One, two.
Tom won 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has anyone ever won more than 5? Because I know Colby won 5.
Nope. I think it's 5 is the max. Colby, Tom, Terry, Mike. Is there one? Did Ozzy win 5? I think he won 5 too.
I'll look. But yeah, I think he's definitely. I mean, maybe you say Tom only because of how dominant Karor was.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely close between the two of them.
Yeah. I would just say that put Mike when he was on his season and Tom when he was on his season, they go head-to-head. I think Tom wins. In challenges, not like...
You mean if you were to take like Tom's age when he played Survivor?
Yeah, Tom when he was in Pearl Islands and put him up against Mike when he played Worlds Apart. I think Tom would be better at challenges than him.
I don't know. The challenges were very different, right? The ones that Mike was winning were a lot more physical than I think the ones that Tom was winning. Like the stairs challenge. I feel like there was more endurance style stuff.
Tom's a firefighter. He can do stairs. And Tom stood on a buoy for 12 hours. I'm pretty sure he can do endurance. Good point. We'll never find out, but it's just speculation. I would say it's between those two.
Right.
Those are the only two like truly physical threats that have actually won the game.
Right. Well, and Sandra.
Yeah, of course, Sandra. So yeah, I thought this was a really good finale. And say what you will about the season, and I think this has happened with San Juan del Sur too. The finale I thought was really good. I thought the San Juan del Sur finale was really, really great. I had a lot of great moves, and I think this is for entertaining finale. I thought that all the challenges were really cool. It's good to see the low one. That maze was awesome. It's
Yeah.
great to see that big of a maze
And
again.
if you listen to Mike's interview with Malcolm after the episode, it sounds like his mom is actually the reason he won. Because
Well, yeah, he practiced the first one
right,
over and over and over again.
Right. And I think if there's anything you're doing, you practice the first one and you practice how to get to the necklace. If you practice those two things, you're going to be in such a good place. Because getting that first one is such a big mental hit to those other people.
Yeah.
And then if you're in a bind, like two people are tied at the end, you want to be able to get to the necklace the fastest. So I think actually they had a really great strategy.
Yeah, no, I thought that was a really cool challenge. I thought the final challenge was really good too. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, that puzzle was easy," but I think it's one of those that looks easy but was deceptively a lot harder.
Right. I would also say that lately, I mean, Survivor's kind of been toying with this idea of an advantage for a while. I think they finally perfected it.
The whole practicing.
The final, right. You do it in the final 5, not the final immunity challenge, which they did for a couple seasons. And it's not like you get to skip this entire part of the challenge like they did for Cochran and Caramoan. Practicing is such a better advantage because it helps people in certain instances, but it's not a way to like just blow, people aren't just going to blow people out of the water.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought that was really, really good way they did it. It was great to see. I found it funny that Rodney never won a single reward challenge or never got to go on one the entire season. Let's talk about Sierra going home. Obviously, it was turned out to be the best thing for Mike. But what were your thoughts on that? Him deciding to get rid of Sierra there when you were watching it.
I mean, I feel a couple different ways. I feel like if you are Mike, I don't know. It ended up being the best move. I think getting rid of Will actually might have been a good move for Mike. I know that Will's name wasn't up there, but I feel like that could have been smart for him to do because Will is basically at that point guaranteed a final 3 spot. And so if you kind of blow up everyone's expectations of the final 3, it could be interesting. But I'm not sure. So
yeah, I would agree with that because I don't think there's any combination of people that would keep Mike if he didn't win. I think no matter who it was, they would still rather go up against, Carolyn would still rather go up against Sierra, Rodney. Rodney would still rather go up against Carolyn and Sierra than go up against Mike. So in that sense, I think he made the right move. Get rid of the strongest challenge competitor so that you guarantee or almost guarantee your win. I mean, maybe it would have been really close if Rodney was any good at puzzles, but but yeah, I think he did a great choice because Sierra was fairly competitive. I mean, she was very athletic, and she probably would have been pretty close to Mike, athletic-wise of getting to the puzzle. And Mike said in interviews that Sierra is much better at puzzles than he is. So I think he just wanted to guarantee, that he won.
Her height would have really helped with those stairs as well. Yeah. Getting up those stairs and
so, yeah. At the time, I wasn't so convinced. I was like, maybe you should have got rid of Rodney. But looking back, it's definitely the right move to guarantee him the win.
Right.
So let's talk about his move. So he wins the final challenge. I loved that final challenge, actually. I was a little like, oh, is this going to be cool? But how exhausting it was, proved that this was a challenge worthy to be the final.
I feel like that challenge would have been exhausting even if you hadn't been living for 38 days.
You and me trying to compete on that would have been exhausting. But yeah,
and that's one thing I wonder when they make challenges and they have the dream team test them out. Like the dream team's not in that state. They're not in that state of physical fatigue, first of all, but they're also not in the state of mental kind of fatigue of playing a game for 38 days. So I wonder what the time difference is between Dream Team completion of challenges and, Survivor completion of challenges.
Yeah. And I thought it was sort of cool and interesting to have, them do that whole thing at the end and put the necklace on Mike.
Yeah, part of me was wondering if that was like Will's final lobby to keep. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought that too. In interviews, he was saying, he said no, that wasn't the case at all. That it was just absolute respect for Mike and the fact that they all never gave up it, as that challenge was grueling.
Okay.
But yeah, and then we have the decision that Mike is going to do a tiebreaker fire challenge, which I thought was a good move because what does it hurt him at all?
Right.
It potentially
gives the. Sorry, go ahead.
It potentially gives him a jury vote, even if Carolyn doesn't win. Then Mike tried to save me, and if Rodney loses, then he takes out one of the bigger threats. And at that point, I didn't know who was better, Carolyn or Rodney. It was a toss-up for me. I was sort of leaning that Carolyn would be better, but Rodney was not a GOAT by any means.
Right. I think the other thing it does is a jury who's just kind of upset with the whole way things have gone down kind of gets a little sense of entertainment. I think there also was part of it in Mike's head that he knew Carolyn and Rodney may not be the best fire makers, and it might give that jury that final sense of doubt in voting for one of them. Like if there's a juror member who's on the fence and they're like, dude, it took Rodney 53 minutes to make fire and he's been living on an island for 38 days. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, he stated that in interviews as well, but that was part of it too, is see how inept these people are, so vote for me.
Right. And I know he would never say that out loud, like never say that at Final Tribal Council.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that's definitely someone's mental process when they're watching a fire-making challenge for 53 minutes or whatever it was.
Yeah, this was almost – do you remember how long Sundra's and Becky's was?
It was well over 90 minutes. It was definitely over 90 minutes. I'll see if I can't find the – I'm actually on the Survivor.
It wasn't quite as long this time, but yeah, as soon as I saw this going on, I was like, oh, this is turning into a Cook Island scenario here. But it was cool that they both got fire within seconds of each other. And everyone has said that is not edited at all. Like the people on the jury and Mike said, they literally got it within seconds.
Yeah. I'm on the Survivor Cook Island's Wikipedia page. After an hour, they were given matches, which was going to happen this season as well. And after 30 minutes with matches, Sundra ran out of matches. So it took at least 90 minutes.
Yeah. Just a little bit ridiculous. Yeah, and I was like, Jeff, why do you keep giving them more flint?
His claim with that, which I actually get, because the flint it's a piece of magnesium with a glued there's a piece of metal glued on it that strikes, right? Because you scrape off the magnesium, then you turn it around, you strike it to get the spark. What was happening, at least with Carolyn, was that the striking thing, the piece of metal, was falling off, which is a fault of the flint, most likely, because the glue wasn't strong enough or something. At least that was his.
I think his thing is there's no way to tell either way, so we better err on the side of giving it so it's not our fault,
Right.
Yeah, because if it happened once, I would think that. Since it happened twice, I think she's striking it wrong, somehow.
Oh, absolutely. I'm an Eagle Scout. I can tell you they both had some issues, but.
But yeah, better to err on the side of safe so that people don't sue you and think, oh, you gave me a faulty flint and that's why I lost.
Right.
Yeah. But, and then we get to some interesting things. Well, it was interesting that we went from since they had 3 challenges, they had less time for other things. So right after Sierra gets voted out, we go right into the next immunity challenge, which is a little interesting. We didn't get any time in between that. And I guess that would probably be because nothing really happened, because the three of them were still like, well, Mike's going to go if he doesn't win immunity.
Right.
So
And it was a 4-1 vote with Sierra. So you can't even show like a video of Mama C getting mad or anything. Like,
well, and that was interesting. I read an interview that Mike said that Carolyn didn't know that they were voting, or that he was voting for, Sierra and everything. Apparently, she sniffed it out at tribal council and just voted that way and was right. But they never said, "Oh, Carolyn, vote with us for voting Sierra out," which was very interesting to me. I just thought, "Oh yeah, Mike's going to tell Carolyn before they."
See, I had another theory. My theory was that Carolyn believed Rodney, Will, and Mike were going to have a final three deal. That Rodney was going to offer Mike final three, and she didn't know. And maybe this is why it was wrong. She didn't know if Rodney was going to uphold that, right? And so she voted with Sierra to ostracize Mike from those two, thinking that Mike would vote for Rodney. I didn't know if that was actually what happened, but based on what you said, probably not.
Okay. And so after the challenge, obviously Rodney loses a fire making challenge. We get to the final three, and here's another interesting thing: they did not do the opening statements, or they did, but they didn't show it to us.
Right. First season ever.
Yeah, which is very interesting. If you go back to the first couple seasons, we had an introduction and closing statement, and
through 12.
This is the first season we didn't get either. But Jeff was saying that they were sort of repetitive based off of the questioning, and they sort of repeated themselves. So rather than get rid of the questioning, they got rid of the opening statements. But
right. And I will say though, this entire final tribal council felt very rushed.
Yes.
They did spend a lot of time on the challenges. Most finale episodes only have 2 challenges. They don't do a reward. Lately, that's been changing a little bit. They've done rewards in the finale more often lately. But so 3 challenges, 3 big challenges that were suspenseful because is Mike going to win or not? They really took some time out of the final tribal council.
Yeah. Yeah. So some people their jury questions ended up being worthless. We didn't really see that much. Like Haley's, like what she asked Will one thing, and I'm sure she asked the other 2 questions, but we didn't see it. Any jury stuff that stood out to you?
I really liked Shireen's speech.
Yes.
I felt like it was actually a really apt comparison to, especially for Mama C and for Mike. Will calling him a dead fish, like, I get it. I wouldn't do it, but I get it. I noticed that there were some comparisons to those animals throughout the season. So back when I thought about it, because when she said the howler monkeys, I thought of the scene where she kind of was like laughing about the howler monkeys in the tree. Yeah. And then also 2 different cast members were stung by a stingray. I read this on Reddit. Max and Dan, I believe, were stung by stingrays over the course of the season, and it was Carolyn who kind of orchestrated played a big part in them getting voted out. So I thought that was a little interesting thing that the editors did. But yeah, I really liked Shireen's speech. Dan's was insufferable.
I liked Shireen's up until I was like, okay, you didn't need to do the obvious, in the words of Sue Hawk, thing. That was really cheesy to me.
And also, like, let it, in the words of Sue Hawk, let it be in the way Mother Nature intended. I don't know that Mother Nature has a big intention between stingrays and howler monkeys. Like, those two things don't interact a lot in nature.
The howler monkey eats the stingray. Apparently.
Yeah. So, Dan's speech was insufferable. He still didn't understand that Mike overheard a conversation. Like, he still didn't realize that, which was ridiculous to me. Mike's apology to him, like, in the whole, this was the most genuine thing you've ever said to me, like, good for them, I guess. I don't know how to feel about Jen's speech. Part of me puts it in league with the Spencer Bledsoe, David Murphy brand of jury speeches. Jeremy Collins, right? Those people who are like I'm going to talk to the jury, vote for this guy because they're the best. Wink. But part of me doesn't. There was a distinct flavor to it that was not like those speeches.
I liked hers because she just insulted the jury for half the time.
Right.
You guys are some of the most bitter people I've ever seen.
Right.
Get over yourselves. You're a bunch of idiots. That I really enjoyed that part.
Right. So, yeah, I enjoyed that part. I don't love the pandering for the alpha male jury speech, but, that happens. That's okay. Other ones that stood out, there weren't many other great ones, I
would say Tyler was remarkably boring this entire finale.
Was he remarkably boring this entire season? Here's my honest question. Do we think Tyler was a big threat to win?
I do,
Only because Mike told us that Tyler was a big threat to win?
No. And Carolyn, I think, confirmed it again in one of her interviews. He would have won because he made genuine bonds with everyone. Everyone liked him. He was very,
that's fair.
He's a huge social threat. So it wasn't that he was like a huge strategic mastermind. It wasn't that he was a big physical threat, but he was a huge social threat. And he did enough. He did enough throughout the game where people would definitely respect him, and they like him so much they would vote for him to win.
That's fair.
So I think he was a big threat. I found him entertaining to watch when they actually showed him, But I don't know. His final jury question wasn't to Carolyn.
What did he ask? I don't even remember.
I think it was something about why did you vote me out?
Right.
Something along that effect.
But then he didn't even vote for Carolyn.
And then Joe does the other standard, Kobe-like thing that I'm going to be listening to you guys the whole time. My vote's up for grabs. Whoever's going to be the most honest and open is going to get my vote.
And then he goes through and tells each of them what they need to do over the course of the evening. Yeah. I don't know. Part of me likes that as a way to frame what the jury is looking for. Does Joe actually represent the jury is another question. But part of me does like that. Part of me again finds it insufferable.
I think Kobe did it much better.
That's fair.
It was sort of entertaining when Kobe did it. I was just like, okay, Joe, whatever. You're gonna vote for Mike.
Right. Right.
Sierra's question. Do you remember what that was?
No.
I don't either. That's pretty sad.
Rodney.
What did Rodney do? That's pretty sad too. He gave props to Will. I know he did that. He was saying positive things about Will.
Yeah, he was the only one.
But all right, so we get the votes. 1 for Will, 1 for Carolyn. All the rest, 6 of them go for Mike. Any votes surprise you of who voted for who?
I was surprised by Tyler's vote. I thought Tyler would vote for Mama C. If for nothing else, then the realization that Rodney was probably going to vote for Will and to give Mama C second place out of respect.
Yeah. Carolyn also was very surprised that Tyler didn't vote for him.
Yeah. She was very quiet the entire evening. Even when the second chance thing came up, she was just very subdued. She didn't talk much at the reunion. I don't know if she was blindsided by the vote. That doesn't usually happen, that people are blindsided. It's pretty usually well known.
She had a chance to win. I don't think she thought, I'm going to win. She said, but I think she was so just shocked that she only got 1 vote. She really thought she got 2 or 3. And I think it just hurt her that only one person recognized her game and voted for her,
See, I find that hard to believe only because, it seems like the Survivor final voting is pretty much like public knowledge now after the season's over, right? Like all the cast gets together and they kind of tell each other who they voted for and everything. So I'm kind of surprised by that, by the fact that she thought she got more than one. Maybe that's not how it's done anymore. Maybe they are doing a better job of keeping it secret.
Well, technically, they're not supposed to tell anyone there was. Like, if you remember back in the old days, Jeff would even make that question. You know, he's
Right,
like,
would ask them.
now, none of you spoke about who you voted for with anyone, right? And they'll be like, no. Yeah. So that's so I think that, and then the double whammy of not getting on second chances, and she thought she was. I think she was very confident she'd be getting on that as well.
Mm-hmm. I was quite surprised that 2 of the 4 Worlds Apart people only got on, and we'll talk about more about second chances later. But
yeah, so I think all that, you could even tell in her interviews the morning after, she was still bummed. Like, it was a rough night for her.
Yeah, it was.
So let's talk about this reunion show. First of all, it was shorter than a lot of reunion shows, but maybe not really, because most of the time Jeff does stupid stuff and goes in the audience and talks to people we don't even care about. So, you know,
he did a good job of not doing that this season. I think Twitter finally got to him.
At least he focused. Well, I think it was because they had the second chances. He was like, well, I have a less amount of time. I just need to focus on these people. And they had a lot to talk about. And they still didn't get to that much. Anyone before Joe never spoke at all. Anyone who got voted out before Joe never spoke at all at the reunion. And even there, only about half the people from Joe spoke. So it was, did Jen even speak at the reunion?
No, never talked to Jen, never talked to Tyler. I don't know that they ever talked to Carolyn. Did they even touch her?
I think they may have very briefly.
And Sierra was pretty much ignored.
No Sierra. Yeah.
Who got? Yeah, I think no Tyler, Jen, Sierra, Carolyn.
Yeah, but
and even Mike didn't get much.
He got like 2 minutes at the beginning, and all right, let's move on. We're talking about other stuff.
Right.
No, I think Jeff asked her, Jeff asked Carolyn, "Are you surprised you didn't get more votes?"
That's true. Yes, she did.
That was her talking at the reunion. Yeah, and most of it was all about Dan. What did you think about the whole thing of talking with Dan and how they did everything with that?
I think they were right on point. I think that they were justified. Dan was attacking the show. I think Jeff was finally kind of fed up with people attacking the edit. And, you know, if you're going to go on national TV and say a bunch, and I will, to Dan's credit, the only thing I'll say to Dan's credit is he took his lumps when he was proven wrong, and he apologized. He understood what was going to happen. I don't know that he was blindsided by anything except them showing the raw footage. That was the only thing he was blindsided by.
And Jeff wasn't initially planning on doing that. I mean, it was an option. He had it, you know, on cue, obviously. But I think he was like, hopefully he'll just say he's an idiot and he's sorry and we'll move on. But it got to the point where he was like, all right, I have to do this. And part of me was like, it was sort of cool to see the raw footage.
Right.
That was fascinating. But at the same time, I was like, this is eating up so much time.
Yeah.
That we could be talking about other things. And I think that's the main complaint from pretty much all of the cast, is that they hate that their show sort of got remembered as, oh, look at all these sexist comments. You know, and there was much more to the season. And for them, you know, for the people playing, that was just one tiny incident of the rest of the game. And it just, once, you know, America and, you know, makes a deal about it, it's going to be the thing. It's sort of with Big Brother 15 too, you know.
Part of me wonders if they decided from the beginning, okay, we're gonna be honest and we're gonna show what happened and all of that. Part of me wonders though if they were like, okay, Shireen is not somebody we want on our bad side because we want to use her again. She's a great character. So let's show everything just so that she has a platform to talk about things. She becomes more popular and she can be a returning player. I actually wonder if that might have been their motivation. I don't think it was. I think they were just showing what happened in an honest light. But I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. But so all in all, and then we got a little bit of the Will and Shireen. And at that point I was like, all right, Will made his apology. Shireen, just say it's gonna take some time, or
That's what she should. Or I need to think about it.
Yeah.
His apology was horrendous. Like, I think so, at least.
Well, I'm sorry that my words affected you. He didn't.
I'm sorry my words affected you. You need to learn how to forgive. And then it ended with like this weird like head nod that looked like done it. Like it's good. Like he had this weird like weird head nod at the end where he looked back at Jeff, and it looked like that was such a, I don't know. You have to go back and watch it to know what I'm talking about. But it was just like at the end of it, I'm like, okay, so that just invalidated everything you just said. Like it was very weird. You just need to go back and watch it.
Like I owe her not to fully accept the apology and everything, but just the way she was going on about it, I was like, just come on, like this is not what we want to see. Just say it's gonna take some time. We'd have to talk about it more. I can't do it just yet. Something like that. And let's move on and talk.
I don't know. I go back and forth. It's hard for me to tell someone in that position how to accept an apology.
Well, I'm not saying she should have accepted the apology.
Right, or how to take an apology. But her answer was very difficult to follow, I think.
Well, I feel like it was difficult to follow, and she was like platforming. She's trying to make a social platform issue about it.
Right.
Which I thought she did the first, her first answer, which was fine, but to go and repeat it after the apology, I just thought was like, come on, let's get on with the show.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily feel the same way. I wish you had been a little bit more articulate about that, and maybe people would have had a less negative reaction. But that's a matter of opinion, I suppose.
More articulate and more concise.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Yeah. So, anything else happened at the reunion?
Rodney's birthday.
Rodney's birthday, yes. There's a way to end the reunion section. Also, Jeff said, "Joe, everyone loves you. You're amazing."
Yes, which is true.
And
there was the secret reunion scene where they talked to Nina for 6 hours. Just Nina for 6. I'm just kidding. As a joke.
But other than that, there wasn't a lot of anything else that happened at the reunion. Oh, nope. I found it interesting. Jeff just gave him the check right away. What did you think of that?
He's been doing that lately. They haven't been doing the big check on the early show anymore.
Well, no, but usually he does it at the end of the reunion. Right before.
Right. That's true.
This time, winner, while he's hugging his family, here's your check, and he gives it to like a relative, and so that they can.
Maybe it was actually written in the amount of like maybe it was actually written for $100,000 instead of $1 million, and he was hoping that in like the fervor of winning, Mike would just not realize it.
I just think it was like, oh, we're dealing with second chances now. We don't even want to have to deal with bringing Mike back on and giving him his check.
Right.
Let's
do you think, speaking of second chances, do you think Mike is going to be a returning player?
If they do All Stars, a heroes versus villains, anything like that, he's a shoo-in. On all winners, he's a shoo-in.
I agree.
I don't think he'd come back on for like a fans versus well, I don't know. I hope they don't do any more fans versus favorites, to be honest.
I would like to see Blood versus Water with his mom if she's up for it. She was great. She was great. I loved his mom.
But I think it would be interesting to have him and Tony and Natalie. I like a lot of the recent winners. I think it would be good to see them play again.
Even Tyson, right?
Yeah.
like
I don't know if I need Tyson again. Just because he played 3 times and everything. But yeah, I would be interested in any of them. Kim Spradlin, obviously. I'd be cool with Sophie Clark coming back. I think she is a good one. There's lots of
fifth season of Rob Mariano.
I don't need to see Rob back.
Well, David, shall we do what fans did 3 weeks ago and finally move on from Survivor Worlds Apart?
Yeah, let's do it. I don't think we can. We talked about pretty much everything about the reunion thing. But before we do, let's sum up our experience. The top 5 moments of Worlds Apart. So let's, if going back from the season, what are 5 moments for us that stand out as the best moments of Worlds Apart? I would say one of the best was the auction.
I agree. The auction was good.
I didn't like all the stuff that happened afterwards, but the actual auction and the whole, is he going to do it? Oh, he changed his mind. That was really cool to me.
Yeah. I would say these are unranked. These are just moments we enjoyed. I would say that the tribal council where Dan went home, when he played the double vote and then Carolyn played the idol, definitely would be up there.
Yep, that one was good. I would say the final 4 fire making was always very memorable. That, or even the final immunity challenge and Mike winning 5 challenges is also very memorable. Right.
Now, are these best moments, most memorable moments?
It's just the top 5 moments, yeah. Anything pre-merge that stands out to you?
That's what I'm trying to think of. I would say the Vince Jen saga might be in contention for like a top 10, maybe not a top 5.
Yeah. I don't think so. Maybe this is this is a problem.
I mean, I don't think this season was particularly good. Like, it had a good winner storyline.
Yeah.
And like I said, Mike was the right winner for this season. But when you think about it, there weren't that many memorable moments. There are a lot of memorable characters, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't know that there were many memorable moments.
Yeah. And I think, obviously, the main storyline is Mike winning all the immunities to win the game.
Right.
And everything else at this point seems almost like an afterthought. Other than that, I guess the big moment that everyone remembers is Will and Shireen.
Right, but I'm not I don't want to put that on a top 5 moments list because you know what I mean.
Yeah. It's not my 5 favorite moments, but if I'm thinking what are people gonna walk away and remember about this season, it's Mike, and it's Shireen and Will yelling at each other.
Yeah, that's fair.
But all right, maybe this was harder than we initially thought. Let's just leave it at that.
Okay, sounds good.
Where would you rank Worlds Apart in general in a season ranking? Like, is it South Pacific and Redemption Island territory? Is it somewhere in the middle? Is it top 10 for you?
The winner helps a lot. I will say that much. The finale was really good.
Yeah, it helps a lot.
I'd say, if I'm being honest, I would say it's in the 22 to 18 range.
Okay. I'd probably agree with that. I was thinking, maybe between 16 and 24, somewhere around there. I'd have to go through it all and check. But it's not a horrible season.
No. And if it had ended with Rodney winning, Mike loses a challenge and Rodney wins, that would be significantly lower, maybe 25 to 27, maybe not quite that low, but Mike winning does help a lot.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so let's talk about Survivor Cambodia, second chance.
Okay. So should we give our disclaimer?
No. First, let's talk about
Okay.
how painful it was to see Jeff just go by and tell
Oh
people
man.
they did not make it, because that was probably one of the most painful things I've ever seen on Survivor, and
Here's
it
the
just
thing.
broke my heart.
What I'm about to say is punctuated by the fact that I did not vote for him. I didn't vote for him. I didn't want to see him back. I just wasn't a big fan of him. My heart broke for Jim Rice.
The same thing happened to me.
He wanted it so bad.
Yeah. I think he wanted it probably almost more than anyone else there. He truly wanted it, and he didn't make it. And you could just tell on his face he was absolutely crushed. And I just felt so bad. I was just like, this is awful.
Yeah.
And same thing with T-Bird. I mean, she looked really sad. I mean, she tried to be all, hey, it's okay, but you could tell that she.
Yeah. And Jim Rice campaigned probably harder for the hardcore online vote than anyone else. I don't know if you saw, he runs a medical marijuana dispensary, as you know, and he was giving discounts to people who would come in and like vote for him on their phone. I don't think he could have won this season because he promised half the money to charity. He had no chance of winning. That being said, he was crushed. I think he'll be back. If production really likes him as much as Jeff Probst says they do, he'll be back.
I almost wish that they bring all of them back. I mean, really, is there anyone I would hate to see back on?
Michaela Wingle?
Maybe Michaela. But for the most part, you made them go through this horrible process to try to get on Survivor. Like, yeah. I'm not the hugest fan of Troyzan, but bring Troyzan back. I wouldn't mind Troyzan. I would love to see T-Bird. Bring Jim Rice back.
Right.
Shane said he'll never do it again.
I don't believe him. He said that before.
I don't know. It may be in like 4 years, but if they call him in 6 months, he'll say no.
Right. I agree.
There needs to be a long time. And they'd have to do something really big. Guarantee him money.
Right. We'll rig it for you to win.
Not rig it for you to win, but like we will pay you whether you get on or not. Like, just to confirm how invested we are in getting you on this time.
Well, and I didn't realize. For those of you who don't know, he gave just a phenomenal interview with Rob Sesternino last night. After this whole thing was over, it'd been about 24 hours. And so I highly suggest everyone go and watch it. He had been asked. I didn't realize he'd been asked back for fans versus favorites. I did know he'd been asked back for heroes versus villains. I did not know he'd been asked back for South Pacific, which he said it would have been him and Coach, and I think that would have been phenomenal. That would have made that season really good. And I didn't know he'd been asked back for Blood versus Water, which he said no to immediately. Right, the only two I think where he really had a chance were Heroes versus Villains and South Pacific, based on what he said. Yeah. But he makes a really great point that like doing this takes so much work because you have to basically. There's so much to set up. To leave for 2 months and not have any contact with the outside world takes a lot of life coordinating. Yes. Right, and the fact that he's done this now 3 or 4 times, I get why he's upset. Or 4 or 5 now even. I get why he's upset.
Well, and I think now, it's not that he's like angry at CBS or anything. It's just that he's exhausted. I think that's what he said. He just doesn't want to go through it again. So it's not that he's like bitter and all angry at everyone. He came to the realization that, I just didn't get the votes. Right. But it's just the fact of, why do I want to put myself through this again? Why do I want to be exhausted going through this process again, sort of a thing.
Right. Yeah. And I felt really bad for him. I wrote on Facebook at one point, like right after it happened, I'm like, I'm not convinced he actually wanted it because of the way he was sitting and everything. After his interview and kind of him explaining his thought process while everything was happening, I realized like he really wanted it. He wanted it bad.
Yeah. But yeah, and it was just I felt a little bad for Brad Culpepper just because this comical where they
Oh
played
yeah,
him. That was just so funny.
and
But part
apparently
of
he was
me,
pissed. He was really. I mean, he played it off while the cameras were rolling, but apparently at the after party, he was not happy.
yeah, I don't know. Troy Zan seemed a little bummed. Uh, Natalie and Stephanie seemed a little sad, but they seemed to have a good time regardless. Like they went out to the parties and just, oh, we didn't make it on.
Right.
They
I don't.
seemed a little more okay with it.
I'm wondering. Like, I don't think Sabrina actually got the votes to be on. I don't know that she did. I'm wondering though if she actually told CBS that she wasn't going to do it because she had some pretty severe personal stuff happen in her life over the past couple weeks after they announced the voting pool, and I'm wondering if because she didn't look surprised, she didn't look upset, so I'm wondering if she didn't just tell him no, regardless of whether she got the votes or not. I don't think she did get the votes. But.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, so I just felt awful for all those. I almost wish they would have told them all and then just announced it one by one and have them come out on stage, the people who made it.
Yeah, have Jeff like pull votes out of an urn for it or something.
Yeah, exactly. Because that was just brutal. Just to see how heartbroken they were. But anyways, so what we are going to do now is we're going to have our own auction. Jeff and I each have 50 points, and we can use them to bid on the different people of Survivor Season 31 to put on our team, and we're going to be trying to bid on the ones that we think have the best potential at winning the game. Now, we may be talking about some stuff. We mentioned Shane's interview. He mentioned some pre-game alliances. These were happening. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there's not even any spoilers because the season hasn't started yet, or if it started like this morning.
Right. No, I think it doesn't start till like June 1st.
Yeah, I think we have they have to still travel to Cambodia and do all the pre-game interviews and all this other stuff first. But we will maybe be basing some of our picks just based on stuff that Shane and others have said about pre-game alliances. Now, right. The thing about pre-game alliances is while they may be so good before the game, once the game actually gets started, depending on what tribes you are and what the situation looks like, these all could mean absolutely nothing.
Right.
So
we'll also say the reason we're doing this is we're afraid that that this season is going to be riddled with spoilers. And so we thought we'd do our speculation, kind of where people are going to land. We thought we'd do that now, where spoilers don't exist. And then before the season, we'll do a preview podcast, probably with Kathy Sleckman. But we're just going to be talking about characters and stuff like that because we don't want our picks to be influenced by any spoilers we might have seen. But if you don't even want to know pregame alliances, like if you want to go in totally clean, then this next part of the podcast may not be for you. And make sure you tune in at the beginning of next season, before the beginning of next season, to listen to our preview podcast. That one will be completely spoiler free. So,
yeah. And I know you're worried about being completely spoiled, and I would say that there is a high chance that this one will leak out somewhere. But I think I'm smart enough now to not figure it out, like to not find out about it.
I agree with you. The only thing is I'm an admin of one of the bigger Survivor groups. So I'm kind of the front line of defense. If someone reports something or something like that, I'm one of the first people to see it. So there's a really good chance I'm gonna see something.
Yeah, and for me, potentially, I may even leave that group for the summer. Just to avoid. I mean,
you can stay in it for the next 39 days.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, but yeah, the main thing is never look at comment sections.
Mm-hmm. That's where they happen.
Of like Entertainment Weekly or CBS website. Never look at comment sections. Don't go on Survivor Sucks. Don't go on the Reddit Survivor. I think all of these.
Reddit Survivor is pretty good at labeling them, at least, as long as you're not on the new ones. Twitter's dangerous. They won't explicitly spoil a boot list on Twitter. No one will be like, "Hey, I got voted out 10th." But you can definitely see some things that may help you. So if you're worried about like little spoilers, Twitter may not be the place for you either.
Yeah, or just unfollow survivors.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I honestly don't even think it's not the people. For me, I don't think it's the people in the cast that are going to be spoiling. It's that they tell the people close to them, and for a lot of them, that's other survivors,
Right.
and then those people go on and run with it. It's sort of like one of these chain things that if they didn't tell anyone, then we probably would be good, because I don't think most of them are going to be like, oh yeah, we want to spoil this, but it's just,
Right.
you
If you
tell
think Wu's not going to tell Tony, right, you're wrong. Wu will tell Tony.
And even like Shane was saying on his podcast, oh yeah, I'll find out from my other pregame alliances what happened in the game and everything,
Yeah,
stuff like
his interview was just fascinating. I mean,
yeah.
he talked about production, he talked about pregame alliances, how that all works, talked about everything they go through. It's just a fantastic interview.
Yeah. So, with all that being said, let us start. We're going to take each person one by one. We're going to talk about them, our thoughts on them getting on. We'll just be open, and then we'll start our bidding, and then see who takes them. So, are you ready?
Yes, and I've ranked people as well in order that I think they're likely to win. So
I have not. So, interesting to see how it works out. But let's start. I'm just picking a random person. Let's start with Jeremy. Thoughts
okay,
on Jeremy coming back?
he's the person I would switch for Shane.
Yes, as far as entertainment, but we're talking about his chances of winning. How do you think he'll do?
I think he could do well. He has the potential to do well.
Yeah.
He's gonna be in a little bit of a difficult situation. There's a lot of strong guys on this season. A lot of strong guys. A lot of strong older guys. So he may be one of many, and either those strong older guys eat each other because they don't need each other for challenges, or everyone else eats the strong older guys because we don't want all these strong older guys.
Or the
Um,
strong older guys band together and get rid of all these youngins.
it's possible. I think that's the least likely of those three, though.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I do. Because there's not enough of them that, regardless of how they split up the tribes, that they'd be good. Especially if, as are we allowed to do format spoilers?
Sure.
Okay, so in his interview, Shane claims they're going to start on 2 tribes of 10. Then when they get down to 18, they're going to break into 3 tribes.
And he wasn't confident about that at all. He was like, that's one thing I potentially heard. Like, it wasn't that. I take that with a grain of salt, because he doesn't
That's
really
fair.
know. Yeah.
That's fair. So yeah, I think he could just get lost among the fray. If his personality is as Shane says it is, which is very magnanimous and grandiose and everything, he could do well. I have him ranked among the middle of the pack. I have him ranked 11th of likelihood of winning, and that rank isn't based on how far I think he's going to make it. It's based on his likelihood of winning. Right, so he may make it to the final tribal council and then lose or whatever. So the person ranked 20th may make it really far in the game, but they have no chance of winning, type of thing. So I have him ranked 11th.
Yeah, I have a little more confidence. I think he's one that can slip past. He's not as boisterous, in your face as some of the other ones, and he's very likable. While he complains a lot in his confessionals, I think everyone, truly enjoys being around him. So I could see him going pretty far. And if he makes it to the end, especially who he's up against, I think he has a good shot at winning. So I could see him do good things. So I'll start the bidding at 1.
I'll take him for 2.
I'll go 3.
4.
4. All right. In this auction, are we limiting it to 5 of each gender for us?
I would say yes.
Yes. Okay.
Looks like we may have lost David, so if you can still hear me, just hold on for just a second. David, you still there?
I want him to be one of my top 5, I guess is the question.
David, we lost you for about 30 seconds.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, can you start back? The last thing we heard was, are we limiting it to 5 of each gender?
Yes, and I said, if that's the case, do I want him in my 5? I don't know.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, I sort of paused when that happened. So I guess if I'm trying to pick 5, I want him, so I'll do 5. I'll bid 5.
Okay, I'll let you have him for 5.
All right, so I'm down to 45. Jeff still has 50, and I have Jeremy on my tribe. All right, so we move on to the next one. We'll go over to a girl. Let's talk about a recent one, Shireen. Shireen. Thoughts on Shireen coming back?
I don't know. Part of me is afraid she's going to get lost among the fray. Like, she's going to be the super fan among all the giants type thing. And she hasn't had as much time to network because she's been playing Survivor and she's been a new person, right? She didn't get to sit with them in the green room and all that type of stuff, which I think all does matter.
Yeah.
That being said, she's a good person to have around. She's loyal. I'm a little afraid people are going to think that she is going to grandstand everything. I don't think she would do that, but I'm afraid people. And she's also hurt by the fact that she admitted to being a millionaire. I don't think that really matters, but I think it matters a little.
I don't think that matters that much. I think, it could be interesting, but I think she may have a target just because she's from the most recent season. Sometimes people aren't as receptive. Oh, these are the new people. Let's get them out, sort of thing. And, she did have some issues being harmonious with people last time. So if people do get annoyed with her, that could be a bad sign as well.
Yeah. That being said, I think she's a really good player, and she knows everyone else on the season really well. Like, she knows their game, which I think is a huge advantage.
Okay.
People like Shane who don't even remember who Cass is, right? That's a problem. Shane doesn't have that problem. I have her ranked 10th, most likely to win.
All right. So, you want to start bidding?
Yeah, I'll start with 1. I'll take her.
I'll do 2.
I'll take her for 3.
I'll let you have her for 3.
Okay. Wait, did I get Jeremy or did you get Jeremy?
I got Jeremy.
Okay, you got Jeremy, so I have Shireen. Okay.
So you're now at 47.
Yep.
I'm at 45. All right. Back to the guys. Let's go with let's go old school. Go with Jeff Varner.
I love Jeff Varner. Love him. Love him. Love him. I think he's got a good shot at winning. He's going to be a villain, and I think he's got a little bit to overcome being one of the only new school guys. But he's smart. He's funny. He's infectious. He really wants to be there. He apparently did a really good job of pre-gaming. I suspect, in his interview, Shane kept alluding to this 4-person alliance that was just tight. Like he was convinced this 4-person alliance would go to the Final Four. Whether or not that's true, who knows? I suspect Jeff Varner was one of those people in that 4-person alliance, based on the way Shane talked about him and everything. So I like Jeff a lot. Yeah,
I think he'd be good. I think he's funny, he's likable, so he'll do good socially. I think he has a very good strategic mind. It's just the matter of, does he get in the right alliance, or maybe he's in an alliance right now, but do they have the numbers?
Right.
Can they get, because with Shane out, it's 3 people, and even if they're all on the same tribe, a group of 10 and 3 people is not enough to do anything.
Right.
So even in a tribe of 6, 3 people will only get you halfway there. So so it's all a matter of, will he get to the right alliance. But if he gets to the end, I can see him winning, especially if he's smart about who he takes. So, yeah, I have high hopes for Jeff.
I have him ranked 2nd.
Wow. So I will start the bidding with 1.
I'm going to go straight up to 5.
5? I'll do 6.
7.
I'll do 8.
9.
I'll do 10.
I'll do 11.
I'll do 12.
13.
14.
Wow, 15. I'll do 15.
15. Oh boy. I'll do 16.
Wow. I'll do 17.
17. That is high.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you have them. 17. You got Jeff.
All I want in life.
I really would have liked him, but 17, I think I can do a lot with those 17 points later on. So, all right. Let's move back over to Kelly Wigglesworth.
I don't even know what's going on with her. Like, I don't know if she wants to be there. I don't know what, like, I have no idea.
Do you think it was more of, please, Kelly, we want you back. The second chances. We need you for this ultimate second chance. Do you think it was more of them pleading with her to come on, or do you think she genuinely wants to come back on again?
I don't know. Maybe she's just become a really boring person and, like, doesn't have any facial expression or care. I have no idea.
Well, we know that she doesn't really watch Survivor at all.
Right. It's going to be a huge disadvantage for
her. She does not seem to be interested in the strategy part of the game at all.
Right. Well, her entire final tribal council, which she didn't even watch Borneo until like 5 years ago, I've been told. I don't know if that's true. She watched the first 5 minutes, obviously, on the reward, but hasn't watched it since, or didn't watch it until 5 years ago. Her entire final tribal council was basically like, vote for me because I'm a nice person, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, and I don't think, it's not like she's evolved and adapted her strategy throughout the years. Obviously, right. She said she wants to make an alliance, but okay, we'll see. Yeah, so I think she's going to be a big fish out of water there. If she can get an alliance, maybe they'll take her to the end. Maybe she can do it. I mean, maybe she'll surprise us, but she does seem to be really out of sorts.
Right. I have her ranked 20th out of 20 as for likelihood to win.
So, you want to start the bid?
No.
It's your turn.
I'll start the bid at 0.
You have to start at 1, Jeff.
Damn it, David. I'll start the bid at 1.
All right, you can have her. Thank you.
Damn it, David. You're a horrible person. And you're the one selecting the order. You made the rules.
All right, I'll let you pick. I'll let you pick the next 2. How about that?
Okay. Do I have to do a boy and a girl?
Yeah.
In that order?
No, I'll let you do whichever.
Okay, let's do Cass.
Cass. Chaos Cass. What are you at, by the way? 29?
Yeah, I'm putting it in the comments if you want to read them.
Oh. All right, yes. 29, I have 45. Okay. So, Cass. Chaos Cass. I know Shane was not too high on him, or Rob Cisternino in that interview. They thought she would be the very first boot. Yeah. What do you think?
I think that's likely. I feel like, here's the thing. For Cass to overcome her burden, she needs to get in an alliance that'll get her to the merge. Her biggest problem is she's known as a flipper. Like, that's what she did. She flipped, right? That's all she did. And she's not a particularly nice person. She hasn't been nice to people while campaigning. She holds no punches. You and I have talked to her. She is probably she really is a nice person. You and I talked to her. She's delightful. But she plays a villain on TV, and people know that, and people I don't think want to deal with that, especially since she's not the only villain there. Like, if Shane were on the season, I think the season might have too many villains. Not saying I wouldn't want Shane on it by any means, but there are quite a few villains out there. And she's got a big uphill battle. I mean, can she do it? Technically, yes. I guess it's within the physical possibility of the world, but she's got such an uphill battle. I just don't see it happening. And I have her ranked 19th.
Yeah, I don't know if she can get an alliance. I think she's personable enough. I mean, we've talked to her. She's really nice. Like, the editing or on the show, you're like, oh, she's this mean, vindictive, yells at everyone. But I think she can get along with people. But if she's on a tribe that keeps losing, that could be thing. And I actually think her best bet is to form up with a group of girls. I think a group of girls would be willing to take her on. But I think it's these guys. You look at these guys. Most of these guys are not ones that are gonna take it. And I think if they have the majority, they're gonna be like, let's just get rid of Cass. She's a flipper. She doesn't contribute much. But I think if a group of girls could take control, I could see her working with Abby Maria or PG or Kimmy. Like, there's a lot of boisterous people, especially females, that I think. What kind of alliance would that look like? What if it was Shireen, Cass, Abby Maria, PG, and Kimmy?
That's called the best alliance ever made.
Yeah, like that could be pretty. So I think her best bet is to team up with the girls, actually, and then I think she may have a chance. But if people like Vetus and Savage, Terry, Jeremy, even Spencer, if any of those people are controlling their tribe, she's a goner,
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think. But all right, so I will start bidding off at 1.
You can have her.
All right. Figured that would happen.
Still can't believe you did that to me with Wigglesworth.
I'm okay with Cass. So all right, pick a guy.
Let's go with Wu.
Wu. All right. What are your thoughts on Wu?
Well, obviously,
he was the one that I didn't have in my list.
Yeah, he was a surprise to a lot of people. I see a lot of people being really mean to Wu, like, oh, Shane should have Wu's spot and all this other. Well, that's ridiculous. It should be Jeremy.
Well, Shane said that I should have Wu's spot.
Shane said that. He's wrong. It should be Jeremy rather than Wu. But I like Wu. I think a lot of people don't. I'm really excited to see Wu play again, though, because I want to know if anything changes. Right? There are so many returning players that play the exact same way the second time, and I don't know that Wu's going to do that. And if he does do that, he'll make the same mistake he did last time. He'll get really far in the game. He'll take the wrong people because it's the honorable thing, and he'll lose. That being said, I'm not convinced that's what he's going to do. I think he's going to be a hot commodity in terms of allies. I don't know how much pre-gaming he did because I think he was genuinely surprised by the outcome. I didn't think he was planning on making it. So I don't know how much pre-gaming he did. That being said, if there are these pre-game alliances of like 4 and 5, which aren't enough to do anything because there's 20 people in the cast, Wu becomes a really hot commodity because he's proven himself to be intensely loyal to the people, to like that 1 or 2 people, right? So if he can find his Tony, he will go very far in this game. If he's willing to stab his Tony in the back, he can win this game. I have him ranked at 7th.
7th, wow. All right. Yeah, I think he could do well. I think he's likable enough that if he gets to the finals with certain people, he can win. I don't think he's going to turn cutthroat. I don't think that's the possibility.
I don't think so either.
He's going to be backstabbing anyone. So I think it's that if he makes an alliance and he's nice enough and people don't respect the other people's games, he could win. So, all right, you're starting the bidding?
I'll say 1.
I'll go 2.
I'll go 3.
I'll do 4.
I'll let you have him for 4.
Okay. All right, my turn. You started bidding last time, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So my bid, I think I'm going to go with Kelly Wentworth. What are your thoughts on Kelly?
I like Kelly a lot. I think she's in a good place. She's in kind of this group of young, cute girls who were kind of all on the bubble, right along with like Monica and Tasha and Sierra. Sierra wasn't on the bubble, but you know what I mean. I think Abby Maria might have been on the bubble. So she's got kind of her contingent. She's not known as like this crazy cutthroat player, which I think works to her advantage. She's smart. I think she is a good player, which works to her advantage. I wonder if she will get lost, though, in the kind of sea of big characters.
Oh, yeah.
I have her ranked 8th to win. So I think she's got a really good shot.
She may not stand out on the screen, but she could potentially win the game.
Right. Absolutely. We'll see, though. I don't know. I think she's going to be another one who's a hot commodity. People are going to want to align with her.
Yeah, it's just a matter of if luck's on her side. It was not on her side last game, and I think she has a good enough head on her shoulders to figure this game out. If she has a good alliance, she'll go to the end and potentially win. So I'll start with 1.
I'll go 2.
I'll go 3.
4.
5.
6.
7.
I'll go 8.
I'll go 9.
I'll let you have her for 9.
All right. Who'd I get? Oh, Kelly. All right. Let's.
Who was I betting on?
Let's go with Keith.
I love Keith.
Keith is funny. I voted for Keith. I enjoy having him, and that's why I didn't vote for Wu. I prefer Keith over Wu to me, and I think they're somewhat similar, as they're not huge game players, but they're fun and loyal, and someone you can take with you far in the game.
Right.
I like Keith. I don't know if he has a chance of winning. I don't think he's ever going to make the moves, unless it's a complete Fabio situation. I don't have high hopes for him.
Right. My wonder about like Keith and some of the other, like Kimmy probably too, is this the type of season where the game players are going to target each other first, or where the game players are going to target the people not playing the game first? Mm-hmm. In one of those situations, Keith goes really far, maybe as far as he did last time. In the other situation, he's done, 2nd or 3rd tribal council, I think.
Yeah.
I have him as 15th ranked to win. I think he's got a big uphill battle.
Wow, there's that many people lower than him.
Well, you already know Cass and Kelly, so there's 3 others I think that are lower than him.
Yeah.
He had a chance I think if he had gone to the final tribal council with Missy, he would have gotten 2nd. I still think Natalie or Jacqueline would have probably beaten him last season, but I don't know that for sure.
I think he could have beat Jacqueline. I think against Natalie was going to win no matter what. But it would have been close.
So that proves, that he has some ability to play the game.
Yeah, that's true.
He found an idol. He knew when to play it. I think he's a lot better when he surrounds himself with smart people. I think smart people bring him up rather than him bringing them down, which I think is good for him. But yeah, he's got a big uphill battle.
Yeah. So start the bidding.
I'll take him for 1.
I'll let you have him for 1.
Yeah, I figured you would.
Your turn.
Am I picking people?
Did I pick 2? Yeah, I picked Kelly and Keith.
Let's go with Abby Maria.
Abby Maria. All right. Thoughts on Abby?
What do you do with a problem like Abby Maria? No, I did not vote for her. I didn't want her on. Honestly.
Why, Jeff?
She's not my kind of villain. Like Cass is my kind of villain, not Abby.
I like both of them. I appreciated Abby. I liked how she was a villain because, there was just sort of this social disconnect. And I sort of I appreciated watching it. So I'm glad to see her back, see if she can change anything, what will happen. I think she's someone that either people are going to be annoyed by and she's going to get out very quickly, or I think she's a pretty loyal person. And I think if she's in an alliance, they can trust her. I mean, she'll run her mouth, but maybe that's good because you want to take her to the end. So I don't know if she's going to be like an automatic first boot. She does have an uphill battle to win. I think it's only going to happen if she can somehow take control of the vote away from who else is in her alliance.
Yeah, I can see that. I have her ranked 18th to win. I just don't I don't know who she goes to the end with this season where she wins. I actually think even Cass would beat her in the end if they were together. I have Cass ranked lower because I don't see Cass getting to the end. But even if they were there together, I would see Cass beating her. So I just don't. I don't think she has a chance.
I'm assuming I'm going to lose 1 point here.
But you get Abby Maria.
Okay, but I'm just clarifying. Like I did one, and you let me have it. All right.
And I get to pick the next guy too, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's go with Steven. This is an interesting one.
This is an interesting one. Steven has a target on his back for being such involved in the community, such a smart strategist and game player. And if he's not in an alliance, that could hurt him. And I think even in an alliance, even if he's in an alliance, they may want to target him sooner rather than later, just because people don't trust him. But if he can get some loyal people, maybe Steven's in alliance with Keith, Wu, and Abby Maria, and he can take control of these people. I can see him winning. But the other savvy game players are going to want to take him out.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
I do a little bit. I think that's his biggest detriment. I think he does have a fairly good shot, though. His lack of recency helps him. The fact that he didn't beat JT helps him, right? If it had been like a 4-3 vote, even that I think would hurt him a little bit. His people.com and Rob Has a Podcast stuff might hurt him. Although I do think his relationship with Rob Sesternino may help him because everyone else has a relationship with Rob Sesternino, and he could exploit that, I think. He's a smart guy, and if Rob's telling the truth, he's also a pretty physically fit guy. He's become a lot more, physically fit over the last few years. Seems like everyone likes him, whether or not they're going to keep him around, who knows. His other big detriment is, I said this as an advantage for Jeff Varner, but I'm saying it as a disadvantage for Steven, is how much he wants to be there. Jeff Varner, you could see him on finale night. His nervous energy was excitement and happiness and joy, right? Steven's nervous energy was terror. And I think that could work to hurt him. That being said, I think he does have a good shot because of how smart and capable he is. I have him ranked 6th to win.
All right. Start the bidding.
Oh yeah, it's me. I'll start at 1.
I'll go 2.
I'll go Trace.
4.
I'll go 5.
I'll do 6.
7.
7. I'll do 8.
Um, I'll let you have him for 8.
All right.
Sorry, it just sounds like there's someone like doing something on the side of my house. Did you hear noises, or am I crazy?
I heard a noise, but I don't know if it was you or.
Well, very well may have been.
It was either the noise or you reacting to the noise.
That's fair. Okay, so we're moving on.
Moving on, my turn.
Steven for 8.
Let's go with Vetus. What are your thoughts on Vetus?
I have a lot of thoughts on Vetus. Can we pause for just a second?
Yeah.
Cool. I'll be right back.
So he has a lot of thoughts on Vetus. Let's figure out what the thoughts are. When Jeff returns. Dun, dun, dun. So, recap right now. My team currently consists of Jeremy, Cass, Wu, Kelly, Wentworth, Abby Maria, and Stephen Fishbach. Jeff currently has Jeff Varner, Shireen, Kelly, Keith. Is that it? That may be it. So I have 2 more than he does. But we'll see what happens here with Vetus and whether or not I get him or he gets him, or maybe it's a fight of who doesn't want him. I know.
Sorry.
But, all right.
Okay, so Vetus.
Yes.
I love Vetus. You know that. He was my pick to win Blood versus Water. I was wrong. It was very sad. He's got a little bit of an uphill battle for a couple of reasons. Sorry, I'm just filling out this. Okay. He's got a little bit of an uphill battle because he is probably pretty close with Sierra. And I think Sierra is a big threat. People perceive her as a threat. That being said, in his game, he didn't really show that much strategic acumen. Like, he wasn't known as a strategic threat in the game. He was known a little bit as a physical threat. He didn't backstab anyone. You know, he did push his brother off a sumo mat, but that happens. So he didn't backstab anyone. He wasn't a huge strategic threat. He was a good physical player.
He has the reputation of being a little shady, though.
That's the thing that's going to hurt him. Right. I'm interested to see how he'll play without his brother there. I definitely am. I think his threat is going to be a little bit difficult for some people to overlook because I think there's kind of an air of the unknown, like you said, with the shadiness. That being said, it's said that he has a pregame alliance, and I think based on the people in his pregame alliance, he's got a shot at winning. That's supposedly Sierra, Monica, and Spencer. And I think with the exception of one other person in that alliance, he has the best shot at winning among them. So I have him ranked 9th to win.
9th to win. All right. I'll start the bidding at 1.
I'll take him for 2.
I'll do 3.
4.
I'll do 5.
I'll do 6.
I'll do 7.
Ooh, David.
Yep.
I'll do 8.
I'll let you have him for 8.
Okay. Did we talk about Wu yet? I just don't have him on my list.
I have Wu.
How much did you pay for him?
Not very much. Like 3, 4?
I remember you paying 3 for him, yeah. I think I forgot to put him on the list. Do you see him there?
I do not know.
He'd be at 23.
All right. Let's talk about Kimmy Kappenberg.
Who knows? about her. Do you have any read on her whatsoever as a player?
Any read. I don't think she's going to be that strategic. I think she's going to be trying to look for an alliance, think she may be slightly annoying, but I think she's definitely matured a lot more from since she played, almost 15 years ago.
Do you think her and Jeff Varner are actually friends, or do you think they just put them all together since they were from the same season?
I don't know if they're friends. I mean, maybe they've talked pre-game and be like, hey, we should work together, but make it look like we hate each other, and stuff like that. So I could see them working together, but I don't think that they were like, they're secretly buddy friends, I could see them saying, hey, let's, we shouldn't try to just target each other or anything like that. That being said, I don't think she has a chance to win, really, just with this group. I think she can be loyal. I think she can be smart about things, but I don't know if she's ever going to be controlling the situations and dictating anything.
Mm-hmm. I have her ranked 13th to win.
So, all right. So start the bidding.
I'll take her for 1.
I'll let you have her for 1.
Yeah, I figured you would. So kind.
You're welcome. It's all right. I've gotten some people that I didn't want either. So your turn.
I pick next, right? Let's do Spencer.
Spencer. All right. What are your thoughts on Spencer?
No chance.
And why is that?
Everyone's looking for him.
He's sort of the golden boy, like
right.
He's like, oh, Spencer's the ultimate underdog. Spencer's so great. We all love Spencer. So he's almost like the Richard Hatch of this season for All-Stars. Like everyone's going to be, I want to be the one to take out Spencer.
Yeah.
Which is why
and Cass really wants to be the one to take out Spencer.
Which is, I'm pretty sure, why you have picked him when I am bidding. But,
yes.
but if he does have an alliance, and if that alliance is in the majority, he could go far. I mean, part of it is you have perceptions before you get out there, and if you can break those perceptions, then maybe people will be more apt. So he is going to be a huge target in the beginning, but if he can get a solid alliance and he can show people, who he really is and break the perceptions people have of him.
Right.
And if it were me, if I would try to keep him along just because he is a target.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's going to want to take him out eventually. So why get him out first? I would like to, I think people should have done that with Richard Hatch too in All-Stars. Like utilize him and then cut him when you need to,
Right.
So if people choose to utilize him, he could go far. If not, yeah, he's a huge target. So I guess I will start the bidding at 1.
You're starting the bidding at 1, and we're talking about Spencer. You can have him.
All right. Where did he rank for you?
17th.
Okay.
So only above Kelly, Abby, and Cass.
So the next one, who you picking?
Okay, let me look here. I'm just kind of going through my list. So currently, I just want to make sure I'm right on this. I have Jeff Varner, Vetus, Shireen, Kimmy, Keith, and Kelly Wigglesworth.
Yes.
You have Stephen, Wu, Kelly Wentworth, Jeremy, Spencer, Abby, and Cass.
Yes.
You have 1, 2, 3. You have 3 girls and 4 males.
Yes.
Okay. And I have 1, 2, 3 males and 3 girls. Okay, cool. I just picked Spencer, so I have to pick a girl.
Yeah.
Let's pick. Man, this is hard. There's 4 left. Let's pick Tasha.
Tasha. Thoughts on Tasha?
I like her. I think she has a good shot.
Yeah, I mean, she's likable. She's strong at challenges. She gets along with people. She's very I think, strategically savvy. The problem is she may be too much of a target, and people recognize it, and that could be her downfall.
Yeah, I wonder if that's the case, only because she was so overshadowed by the other members of the final 6 in Survivor Cagayan. Like, she's not the one people remember from that final 6.
Yeah,
and that's going to be good for her. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's a toss-up. I could see her going very far in the game, but I think just like in Cagayan, she'll win a couple immunity challenges, and when she doesn't win, they're gonna be like, we have to get rid of this girl. Even the people in her own alliance. So I think that could be her downfall.
Yeah, absolutely. So am I starting the bidding?
Yes.
1, 2, 3. Okay. So we're talking about Tasha. I will bid 1.
I'll bid 2.
I'll bid 3.
I'll bid 4.
I'll let you have her for 4.
Okay.
I had her ranked 4th to win, by the way.
Oh. All right.
It's up to you.
So this means that I have
18 to my 19.
I only get 2 more people.
Right. 1 male, 1 female.
And it's my turn to bid first.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do Monica.
Monica. Okay. What about
What are
her?
your thoughts on Monica?
I like Monica a lot. I think she kind of has the same thing going on as Kelly Wentworth, right? Cute girl on the bubble in a pregame alliance. We know that for a fact. The people she's in a pregame alliance with are all bigger than her. She's going to be the last person that people go after if that alliance ends up on the bottom, which is good for her. She's got a good reputation. She campaigned hard. She really wants to be there. I think she's got a good shot at winning, a really good shot at winning.
I do as well. I think very highly of her. I think she's going to lay low enough where people don't know. As long as she can get credit for moves, as long as she can make a resume in the finals, I think she could very easily win. And this could be, who knows, this could be a very bitter season. And if that's the case, it could be a situation like Amber where Monica's just like, hey, let's not vote for the jerk Spencer and the jerk Vetus, who backstabbed us. Let's vote for Monica. She played a better game than them anyway, right. Sort of a thing. So,
who starts with bidding this one?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll start with 1.
I'll do 2.
I'll do 3.
4.
5.
I'll do 6.
7.
I'll do 8.
9.
I'll do 10.
I'll do 11.
12.
I'll do 13.
I'll do 14.
Oh, 14. Who's left after her? All right, I'll let you have her for 14.
Okay. Okay. Now it's my turn,
Jeff,
right?
Jeff,
yeah.
You have 5 points.
5. I'm sorry.
You do not have 14 points.
All right, that was unintentional, I promise. Now it's my turn to pick 2 people, right?
No, I only picked 1 person.
Okay, so you pick another.
I pick 1 more. This time it's your bid to go first. Let's do Joe.
I knew you would do that. I like Joe. I like Joe as a player. I'm afraid he has no chance. I have him ranked 16.
instant target, even maybe more so than
Yeah.
Spencer.
Absolutely.
Because I don't think he has as many relationships as Spencer does with people. At least pregame.
Yeah, he's done in my mind.
Unless he can pull a mic. He could win if he pulls a mic.
People won't let him get far enough to allow him to pull a mic in my mind.
No. Well, he has to pull the ultimate mic. He has to win every single team chat.
Every immunity from day 1 to day 39.
Exactly, yep. Either that or find 5 idols. But we'll see. But, yeah, we'll let you have him for one.
Yeah, I figured you would. So kind.
You're welcome.
So I'm at 4.
We're at 4, and it is your turn to pick.
You're bidding first, correct?
Correct.
Okay, we'll do Sierra.
All right. Thought I would get her.
Yeah, well, I still have a number 1 pick out there that I gotta protect.
Your number 1 pick is PG?
Yeah.
Ah, interesting.
Or Terry or Savage. No,
it's All right, thoughts on Sierra?
I like her a lot. I didn't realize it until kind of some of the cast started talking, and with Shane's interview last night. Apparently, she's seen as just a huge threat. Is what it seems like to me.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I mean, she plays like Mike had to play, right? She plays willingly like Mike had to play. Like no holds barred. She'll try anything. She'll do anything. She'll pull rocks if she needs to. And I think that's scary to a lot of people. She's a bigger wild card than most people in the cast.
I just think it's because she's young, likable. She's has smart. What's wrong about her? Maybe physical challenges, but other than that, not a whole lot. So I think that's the case.
That's fair. I'm thinking of maybe a little bit more sinisterly about her, but I don't know.
Jeff, why do you have 3?
I have 4. I messed up. I have 4.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so I bid 1. You don't bid any, so yes. That you can get your last girl.
Yes, that means I get PG for free.
But choose the next guy.
I don't know which one you want. I know which one I want. But I start the bid. It doesn't matter because you have more points than I, so you can just pick whichever one you want amongst these two. Let's talk about Savage first.
Savage. Thoughts on Savage?
I didn't actually vote for him. That being said, I think he has a good chance if he gets with the right people. I think he is going to be forgettable enough that since he was so long ago, and I think he's strong enough and strategic enough that he could do well. It's possible that he does well.
Do you think he has too much of a I need to be the leader complex? Like I need to be in control?
He did on his last season. Maybe that's changed. Maybe he's watched enough Survivor to know that he needs to subdue that.
Why don't we just talk about both of them? What are your thoughts on Terry?
I also like Terry a lot. Terry and Savage, I don't know if they were broing down together because they happened to be sitting next to each other and they both made it on, or if there's actually something between them. If there is something between them, that's a really strong alliance, and that's a really strong twosome that could go far. I think Terry was also in Shane's foursome. I think if I'm wrong about one of the others, Savage may have also been in that foursome as well.
Yeah. Who do you think those 4 are? Jeff, Terry?
Jeff, Terry, and PG.
PG? Interesting.
Because the way he was talking about it, he sounded like there was a lot of balance. And I think you need like an analytical thinker to balance out that alliance. A cool, calm, collected, analytical thinker to balance.
To me, it almost seemed like though he wasn't including any women.
He never said that,
No, he didn't
That's
say that.
possible. And like I said, if I'm wrong about one of them, I'm wrong about PG.
It seemed like he was broing down, though.
It's possible. And if he was, it would be Savage rather than PG.
Yeah. But, yeah, to me, it's just about thinking who is going to get in and be likable enough to stay in alliance. Because I think both Terry and Savage have control issues. Like, they both want to be in control of everything. And the question is, if they're not in control, how is that going to be handled? And I think people are going to see Terry as more of a threat than Savage. So at this point, I mean, do we even really need to bid? I'll just take Savage and you can take Terry.
That's how I wanted it, so.
Okay.
I had Terry actually ranked 5th.
Why do you have Terry so high?
I feel like the way Shane was talking about it made it seem like Terry was really well connected.
Okay. And that may be.
And yeah, and I may be completely wrong about it. I had Savage actually ranked. I had him actually ranked 12th. I feel like people are not going to love him. He may want it too bad, and he may. I don't know that he's going to do so hot.
Yeah, he may be a pre-merge boot, and then just maybe he will finally get over. Maybe I'm just not good at Survivor, but
the thing is, when you watch Survivor Pearl Islands, like especially as it being the 7th season, right? Like it's an early season. Andrew's the type of person that you would think would be like the best at Survivor, right? If you were going to tell people, hey, we're going to be on an island for 39 days, we're going to vote some people out, so there can be challenges, right? Tell them the format of Survivor, and then say, who's most likely to win? They would draw someone like Andrew Savage. That being said, it's been proven time and time again that that's not how it actually works. And so, who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just think Terry's going to be a target. It's all going to be dependent on. I think we're looking at a OG original versus newer people divide. That's sort of how I see it. And the question is, are the old school going to win, or is the new school going to have the advantage?
The old school has a much bigger hill to climb.
Yeah. So if the new school has the control, then it's people like Terry and Jeff and people like that who are in trouble. But
I disagree. I feel like if the old school, here's what I think. If it does, like, let's say it's 100% old school versus new school. The new school people have a much bigger target on their backs, and so they'll be willing to get rid of each other first before they start like picking off the old school, right? Like Spencer, Cass, Abby, like they'll just get rid of them first, and then they'll like, we're worried about these old farts later. If that happens, that gives the old people a really good shot to pull some of those new people over and really start to work some magic. I think if the old school loses, the people in trouble are the loudmouths. Kimmy, Kelly Wigglesworth, who actually I don't think is a loudmouth, but no one wants to see her win, and she has no chance at winning anyway. It depends on who you count as old school. Savage. I think PG, Jeff, and Terry are actually pretty safe. Terry less so than PG and Jeff, but I think PG and Jeff are really safe for a while.
We'll see. You're forgetting that PG is one of the louder mouths.
I disagree with you strongly.
Strongly? I just rewatched China.
She was a loudmouth in China, sure, but she's smart enough to know that strategy didn't win.
Okay.
And also compared to Kimmy, PG is like subdued.
Okay, but again, Kimmy's probably matured a lot. Like I said, she was in her 20s with single, when she went and played Australia. Now she's married divorced with 2 kids in her like 40s,
Literally right as you said that, I was scrolling through Facebook and someone posted a picture of Kimmy like from the reunion night. So I'm gonna beat you down with facts.
Okay, that's not a fact at all, but you can you can have a difference of opinion. But it'll be interesting to see. So if you had to pick your pick to win the game, you're choosing PG?
I wish I could choose Jeff Varner, but I think PG's got a better shot. Who's your pick?
My pick to win. It's so hard to figure out. Like, I'd almost rather... Like, last season we watched one episode and then pick. But maybe we'll do that again. We'll just have two. We can have our before the game even starts pick in this film, and after the first episode pick. Oh, by the way, who successfully picked the winner of Survivor Worlds Apart, Jeff?
Didn't Kathy?
No, I picked Mike.
I know you did. I'm joking.
You had Jen, and Nicole had Joe, and I picked Mike. So I finally won one of these.
Yeah, I know. You've been waiting since I'd won Cochran. So.
I don't know. I guess I'll pick Monica.
Okay, she was my third, so that's probably a good pick. Based on my ranking, I kicked your butt in the auction.
Yeah,
but
you did very well in the auction.
That's also based on my ranking. You left a lot out there. You left like 17 points out there.
I did, yes.
Which was a mistake I've made before. One time in a fantasy football auction, I left like so much money out there because I forgot there was a limit on the number of people you could have, and then I just won a bunch of like 1 or 2 point people, and I was like, God. Yeah. I thought I was in such a good place because all these people who bet like $100 on Adrian Peterson and everything, I was like, oh, they're done. And then I got my butt kicked that season. Oh, it was bad. I went like 2-12.
But well, right before we leave, let's talk about one other thing. And if you don't want to know anything, let's talk about Survivor Season 32 for just a minute.
Wow, a year away from the finale of Survivor Season 32.
Yeah, if you don't want to know anything about this, turn it off now. But there are some potential rumors of Survivor Season 32. One of them being that it's going to be another Brains, Beauty, Brawn. What do you think of doing another one?
I'm okay with it. I don't think the format matters that much. I think, sorry, I don't, the format matters, like whether it's 3 tribes or 2 tribes, right? I think we've proven over the last few seasons that lately 3 tribes has been pretty good compared to 2. I don't think the theme matters, right? Whether you split those tribes up, Brains, Beauty, Brawn, or white collar, blue collar, no collar, or whatever, that doesn't matter at all. So it's more about the people.
Part of it for me is like, well, let's not just do the exact same one again. I mean, like, really, like, I would rather you not have a dumb theme and just pick 3 tribes, you know?
Yeah.
But I guess they need, I don't know what they're going to call next season, but maybe Brains, Beauty, Brawn 2. I don't like.
Right. How do you feel about doing? I mean, again, if you don't want to know anything about 32, you've probably already logged off by now. How would you feel though about doing like a Big Brother versus Amazing Race versus newbies? Like,
I would like that.
You would like that?
I would not. No.
Why not? Because those are all technically new players to Survivor. They've never played Survivor before.
Yeah, I don't know if I just want to see a whole group of Big Brother people come play Survivor or Amazing Race even for that matter. I think that would probably even be worse. But I don't know. Like I'm sort of like I don't even really want Hayden was one thing. Like I understand Hayden because he was dating someone and he is a great social strategic player. If you haven't heard the rumor, Caleb from this past season of Big Brother is going to be on this season, which actually is already done filming. So they're going to be out of order. Must suck for those people to literally wait an entire year before you find out if you won. Yeah. What was Caleb's nickname?
Beast Mode Cowboy.
Beast Mode Cowboy, yeah. You know, it was sort of like one of those things of when he was on Big Brother, he kept saying, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go on Survivor next," and wouldn't that be cool? I'm gonna go on Survivor, and I was like, "Really, you guys actually want to do that?" Like, I'm okay. He'll be entertaining probably, but I think that's a completely different game from Big Brother, and it'll be interesting to see how he reacts to that.
Yeah. Caleb is one that I always have like a mixed reaction to. The beginning of the season, I hated Caleb. I wanted nothing more than him to go. Once Amber left, though, on Big Brother 16, he was actually a fairly entertaining, charming person, you know?
Yeah.
So.
But, I don't know. To me, there's a difference between like a player of Big Brother and the characters of Big Brother. And I don't really know, like Hayden was a player. He was not a good character of Big Brother. But I don't know if I really need to see the same character from Big Brother on Survivor, you know? I guess that would be my thing. So if it was someone who is, like, it would be fascinating to see Derek play Survivor, see if he could, you know, what he could do.
Right.
To me, I'm not fascinated to see what Caleb can do on Survivor, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
But
he's not one that I was like holding my breath for.
Yeah. That being said, you know, it could be fine. I mean, I was a little hesitant with the twins coming back from Amazing Race. They seem to do fine. And it seems like Survivor's doing more and more of this stunt casting, which they didn't necessarily want to do before. But it'll be interesting. There's another rumored NBA player.
Mm-hmm.
It's like replacement Cliff. Now, I would assume Caleb is on the Braun tribe.
Yeah. Well, no, Brains.
I was thinking potential Beauty, but probably Braun. You know.
Yeah, he's definitely Braun.
Is he like the replacement Wu Ninja?
No, I would say if anyone, he's the replacement. Oh, geez, would he be the replacement Tony?
I guess like he's almost like the replacement Jeremiah to me, except more entertaining. But
yeah, I guess.
But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. So yeah, in a year from now, we'll find out if Caleb is the winner of Survivor. I doubt that's happening.
Jeez. Yeah, I can't imagine he wins that. Do you think people are going to recognize him, or do you think he'll tell people?
I'm sure he'll tell people. He can't keep his mouth shut. Yeah. So. All right. Well, that's all we have for this podcast. It was a little longer, but it was fun. I'm excited for the upcoming season. It's going to be absolutely crazy. I hope this doesn't turn into a bitter, everyone hates each other season, and that we could just have lots of gameplay and it's be brutal in the gameplay version, but not in the people hurting version. So, but yeah, I have high hopes for it. I think it could be really cool, and excited to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be fun. I hope it remains lighthearted.
I do too. Yeah, it needs to remain lighthearted. But, well, be sure to check us out on our Facebook group, David and Jess Survivor Podcast. Leave us comments, let us know what you think. Also, you can do that on our website, survivorpodcast.blogspot.com. Go through all our archives, see all our old podcasts that we've done. We have a lot of stuff coming up. We have our reality roundtables. We have our ranking 100 seasons of Survivor. Or not Survivor, 100 seasons of reality television, including every season of Survivor, ranked somewhere on that list. So that will be fun. Jeff and I are still rewatching. I just finished Big Brother 1. Jeff just finished Treasure Hunters, and now we're flip-flopping. And Jeff is finishing up Big Brother. I'm watching Treasure Hunters. So we'll have both of those to come. And doing a little recap before we go on to our rankings. So lots of stuff coming up. You don't want to miss it. Oh, Jeff, why don't you tell them about iTunes?
Yeah, you can hit the subscribe button, and the podcast shows up on your computer every week. We just pop. We're like, hey, how's it going? We're on your computer. We don't actually say that, but no, it just shows up. You don't have to do anything. It downloads it automatically, so you
Or a
can.
mobile device.
Or on your mobile device, which also works. I listen to
Or
podcasts
tablet.
every. I listen to podcasts every morning on my way to work. So
Awesome.
yeah.
So thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.